What if the vegetables you eat every day, ones you thought were healthy, are raising your blood pressure and increasing your risk of heart attack? That's exactly what happened to me. I'm Harold. I'm 72, a retired truck driver. I thought I was eating right. I had vegetables on my plate every night, mashed potatoes, grilled eggplant, raw green bell peppers in salads. I didn't realize those very foods were slowly tightening my arteries, making me dizzy, and spiking my blood pressure. I used to wake up with numb feet, stiff knees, and shortness of breath when climbing stairs. I thought it was just aging. But one simple change, just swapping out a few vegetables, gave me back my energy, balance, and confidence. In this video, I'll show you the 5 vegetables that silently raise your blood pressure, and the 5 vegetables that help protect your heart, brain, and balance. And the last one on the list. You probably eat it every week. Comment below the vegetable you eat the most. Like and subscribe. This video might change how you age. I used to believe that all vegetables were my friends. After all, when I was growing up, my mother always told me to clean my plate. Eat your greens, she'd say. They'll make you strong. And for most of my life, I listened. I loaded up on vegetables, thinking I was doing the right thing, until I hit my 60s. That's when everything started to change. One afternoon, I sat on the edge of my bed with a blood pressure cuff on my arm, staring at the numbers like they were a foreign language. 156/92. Again. I had cut back on salt, walked every morning, and avoided processed junk. So why weren't the numbers going down? The answer, strangely enough, was sitting on my dinner plate. It started with something as simple as mashed potatoes. But not just any mashed potatoes, white potatoes, soft and fluffy, drowning in butter. Comfort food, right? Only after eating them do I feel bloated, sluggish, and strangely thirsty. My energy dipped, and I needed a nap by 2 p.m. At first, I blamed it on age. I'm just getting older, I'd mutter to myself. But deep down, I knew something wasn't adding up. That's when I began researching. And what I found shocked me. Turns out, some vegetables, even the ones we've been told are healthy, can be harmful for people over 60. Especially if you have high blood pressure or are trying to protect your heart. So today, I want to share with you the 5 vegetables I had to stop eating, and why. 1. White potatoes. Let's start with the big one. White potatoes. I grew up in the South, where a meal didn't feel complete without some form of potato on the plate. Mashed, baked, fried, or scalloped, we loved them all. But the problem is this: white potatoes have a very high glycemic index. That means they spike your blood sugar fast, especially if they're peeled and mashed. And every time your blood sugar spikes, your insulin follows, and so does inflammation. Inflammation isn't just about swollen joints. It affects your blood vessels, too. That chronic low-level inflammation makes your arteries stiffer. And that stiffness is a one-way ticket to higher blood pressure. According to the American Medical Association, regular consumption of high GI foods like white potatoes can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, especially in older adults. I didn't realize it at the time, but every time I indulged in a bowl of mashed potatoes, I was feeding a cycle of inflammation and pressure that my heart couldn't afford. When I finally cut them out, or replaced them with sweet potatoes or cauliflower mash, my blood pressure readings began to drop. I didn't need to give up comfort food. I just needed to redefine what comfort meant for my body at 76. 2. Eggplant, a southern favorite, with a secret. Some things that seem benign, turn out to be silent traitors. Eggplant is a typical example. Eggplant. Or as my wife called it, aubergine, she always had a flair for fancy words. We used to make eggplant parmesan every other week. It was our vegetarian night. I thought I was being healthy. But then I learned that eggplants contain solanine, a natural chemical that can cause inflammation, especially in people who are sensitive to nightshade vegetables. Solanine isn't dangerous in small doses. But for older adults who already have a bit of stiffness in the joints, a little bit of inflammation goes a long way. Over time, solanine can contribute to nerve irritation and vascular inflammation, two things that don't mix well with high blood pressure. After I stopped eating eggplant, I noticed something subtle but powerful: my morning headaches became less frequent. And the occasional tingling in my hands? It faded. Turns out that small purple vegetable was doing more harm than good. 3. Green bell peppers. My body feels like it's back, after years of being forced to eat what I thought was good. What about you, do you have any of these? Now this one surprised me. Green bell peppers were in everything: omelets, stir-fries, salads. I thought of them as crunchy and harmless. But it turns out green bell peppers are high in lectins, a type of protein that can bind to your gut lining. In people over 60, the digestive system becomes more sensitive. Lectins can cause leaky gut, leading to systemic inflammation that spreads through the bloodstream. And where does that inflammation land first? You guessed it, the cardiovascular system. According to research from Johns Hopkins Medicine, people with hypertension or autoimmune issues may be especially sensitive to lectin vegetables like green peppers. When I took them out of my diet, just for a week, I felt lighter. Less bloated. More focused. I even slept better. It was like my whole body had been holding its breath, and finally let go. For old bok choy, yes, even healthy greens can betray you. Now, bok choy is generally considered a superfood. And fresh bok choy is still a staple in my stir-fries. But there's a catch. Old bok choy, the kind that's been sitting too long or looks a little yellow at the edges, can contain higher amounts of thiocyanate. This compound can interfere with your thyroid function, especially if you eat a lot of it raw or undercooked. For older adults, thyroid health and blood pressure are closely connected. A sluggish thyroid can slow down your metabolism, make you feel tired, and mess with your blood pressure regulation. I remember a stretch of a few months where I felt exhausted after every meal, even if I hadn't done much all day. I thought it was just part of retirement. But after switching to fresher greens and lightly steaming my veggies, the fog lifted. My blood pressure didn't shoot up after dinner anymore. That made a believer out of me. 5. Water spinach. Now, this one might not be as common in American households, but for anyone from Southeast Asia, like my old friend me, who lives down the street, water spinach is a beloved staple. But here's the issue: water spinach is high in oxalates, which can build up in the body and affect circulation. For folks with high blood pressure, that can mean reduced blood flow, especially to the extremities. I didn't even realize I was eating water spinach regularly. It was mixed into soups at our local Vietnamese restaurant. After eating it, I noticed my legs felt heavier, and I'd get strange cramps in my calves at night. It wasn't until Min casually mentioned the oxalate issue that I connected the dots. Once I cut back, the cramps stopped, and my circulation felt noticeably better. The day it all changed. Sometimes, our enemies are not hidden in fried foods, but lie peacefully in seemingly harmless vegetables. One evening, I sat down for dinner and realized something: every vegetable on my plate, eggplant, potatoes, green bell peppers, was on the danger list. That night, I had heart palpitations so bad that I thought I'd need to go to the ER. I didn't. But the next morning, I made a decision: would start listening to my body more than the food labels. I went into the kitchen, pulled out a notebook, and made 2 lists, one for the veggies that made me feel energized, and one for those that made me feel worse. That simple act changed my life. When you're over 60, your body changes. Your gut, your arteries, your hormones, they all respond differently than they did when you were 30. And while vegetables are still important, not all vegetables are created equal, especially when it comes to managing high blood pressure, preventing heart attacks, and keeping your blood sugar stable. Here's what I now look for in a vegetable. Low glycemic index. Anti-inflammatory properties. Nutrient density without gut irritation. Blood vessel support, nitrates, flavonoids, etc. You don't have to give up your favorite dishes. You just need to reimagine them. Mashed cauliflower instead of potatoes. Roasted carrots instead of peppers. Steamed spinach instead of eggplant. And I'll tell you this, once I made these swaps, I didn't just see my blood pressure improve. My energy came back. The fog lifted. I didn't need my afternoon nap anymore. Sometimes I wonder, how many years I spent blindly trusting the word healthy, without questioning what that meant for someone in their 60s or 70s. Back when I was younger, I could eat just about anything. But these days, my body is more honest. It tells me when something doesn't sit right. So I started keeping a little journal. Just a few lines each night. Had mashed potatoes, felt dizzy. Eggplant at lunch, hard to focus. Over time, a pattern formed. And that pattern became the roadmap to reclaiming my energy. If your plate looks colorful but your body feels tired, swollen, or off balance, take a closer look. Your heart may be trying to whisper something your doctor hasn't told you yet. It whispered to me. And I finally listened. I know, it sounds like a lot. But trust me, I lived in a daze for almost 10 years, eating things that seemed good but weakened my heart every day. It was when I decided to make a change, just a small change, that my whole life felt like it had a new wind. You don't have to believe me right now. But if you've ever felt tired when you stand up, dizzy when you change positions, then maybe, the story that's about to come will make you see things differently. You know, it started like any other Tuesday. A bit of toast. Some cucumber slices. A handful of cherry tomatoes. I was reading the newspaper when suddenly, my left arm felt odd. Not painful. Just heavy. Then came the spinning room. My ears rang like sirens. And my chest, tight, like someone was sitting on it. Would you believe me if I told you a vegetable nearly sent me to the emergency room? My wife, bless her heart, rushed me to the clinic. Blood pressure. 190 over 110. I was a ticking time bomb. What shocked me most wasn't the diagnosis, but what the doctor asked me. "Mr. Bennett, what did you eat this morning?" "Just some veggies," I replied, confused. "Nothing processed. No bacon." He nodded. Then said 6 words I'll never forget. "Some vegetables are dangerous after 60. Wait, aren't vegetables always healthy?" Not after this story. It turns out the cherry tomatoes and cucumbers I was so proud of were triggering my blood pressure spikes. Why? Lectins. These natural proteins found in certain vegetables can cause inflammation and affect blood vessel function in sensitive older adults. And guess who's sensitive? Yep, me. That morning scare was my wake-up call. I had to relearn everything I thought I knew about healthy food. You might be eating a heart attack salad and not even know it. I went home and made a list. Then I dug through medical journals, watched lectures, and spoke to a nutritionist who specializes in senior health. Here's what I found. Some vegetables can spike blood sugar more than a cookie. Others block nutrient absorption, especially lectin vegetables like eggplant, tomatoes, and peppers. And some interfere with blood flow and can aggravate hypertension, contradicting the very idea of a heart attack prevention diet. But the good news? There are vegetables that work with your body, not against it. Don't give up on vegetables, just learn which ones to keep, and which ones to retire after 60. Since then, I've shifted to what I call the Senior Heart Garden Plan. Nitrate-rich foods like beets and celery, great for blood pressure. Anti-inflammatory vegetables like broccoli, especially sulforaphane broccoli, and spinach, hello spinach nitrates. And I can't forget zucchini, gentle, easy to digest, and a blessing to my blood vessels. Today, My blood pressure is a steady 122/78. I walk 30 minutes a day, sleep deeper, and haven't had a dizzy spell in months. But the biggest change? I trust my body again. If you're over 60 and have ever felt tired after a salad, had strange blood pressure swings, or just want to stay sharp and independent, leave a comment below. Tell me what vegetables are on your plate. And don't forget to like and share this with someone you love. We're in this together. Let me tell you something I wish I had known 10 years earlier. After watching my neighbor Martha struggle with what she thought were healthy choices, I decided it was time to revisit my own diet. I thought, what if the secret to staying upright, sharp, and alive isn't in fancy supplements, but in something as simple as what I put on my plate? Most people over 60 are eating vegetables that quietly hurt their hearts. But these five changed everything for me. Let me walk you through the vegetables that help me lower my blood pressure, calm my inflammation, and even walk to the park without feeling dizzy. And yes, they're not only backed by science, they're delicious too. 1. Spinach, nature's nitric oxide booster. When I first heard the term nitrate-rich foods, I thought, that sounds like chemistry, not lunch. But spinach? Turns out it's a powerhouse. Rich in natural nitrates, spinach helps dilate blood vessels, which improves blood flow and lowers blood pressure. Since I started including a cup of steamed spinach every day, I noticed a remarkable difference. Less pressure behind my eyes. More energy in the morning. It's like my heart was finally getting the support it needed. Don't like spinach? Keep watching. The next one might surprise you. 2. Broccoli, the inflammation fighter. Now, I used to avoid broccoli. Looked too green, too grassy. But then I read about sulforaphane. It's a compound in broccoli that helps fight chronic inflammation, especially in arteries. After just 2 weeks of adding broccoli to my dinners, my ankles weren't swelling as much. My doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. The third veggie helped my memory. No joke. 3. Carrots, for vascular protection. Bright, crunchy, and easy to love, carrots are rich in beta-carotene, an antioxidant that protects blood vessel walls. I snack on them raw or roast them with a little olive oil. Not only did my blood pressure improve, but I noticed fewer dizzy spells when getting up from the couch. What about celery? Most people don't realize it's a hidden superpower. 4. Celery, the pressure regulator. It may not look like much, but celery contains a compound called epigenin. It helps relax blood vessels and supports a more stable heartbeat. Now, I keep chopped celery in my fridge and toss it in salads or soups. It's become my silent weapon in the kitchen. The last one helped me sleep better. And no, it's not what you think. 5. Zucchini, the gentle balancer. When my stomach felt heavy, or my sleep was off, my dietitian suggested zucchini. Low in calories, high in potassium, and incredibly easy to digest, zucchini helped stabilize my digestion and even eased nighttime restlessness. Now, I sauté it lightly with garlic and olive oil. My body thanks me every time. Surprised by what made the list? You should see what's coming next. If you found this list helpful, leave a comment below and tell me which vegetable you'll try this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Next time, I'll share the one vegetable I avoid, even though everyone says it's healthy. You know, when I was younger, I used to think all vegetables were my allies. If it was green and grew from the ground, I thought it had to be good for me. But after turning 60, I started learning the hard way. My blood pressure kept creeping up, even though I was eating what I thought was healthy. And it turned out, some of the vegetables I trusted were actually working against me. Eggplant, green bell peppers, even overripe bok choy, they were fueling silent inflammation and messing with my heart. That's when I realized. Vegetables aren't just food. They can be medicine or poison. It all depends on your age, your condition, and your choices. That shift in mindset. It saved my heart. And it might just save yours, too. Take a good look at your kitchen tonight. Do you see any of those danger veggies lurking in your fridge? Or maybe you already enjoy spinach, broccoli, or celery, the kind of foods that support heart health and reduce blood pressure naturally. Drop a comment below. Which vegetables do you eat most often? And which one surprised you today? And don't forget, our next video is all about breakfast foods that prevent strokes after 60. It's one of the most important meals of the day, and it could be your lifeline. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. And share this video with a friend or loved one over 60. You never know, you might just change a life.